In this video, I'm going to show you how to wake up your glutes. I'm going to give you 2 stretches and 2 exercises. I'll show you one exercise and it's going to explain why your glutes aren't working. And then as we work through the 2 stretches and the 2 exercises, I will explain exactly how they are working to activate your glutes. Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. I'm Dr. John Cybulski. Today, we are talking about getting your glutes to wake up. So I'm going to go through a bunch of these exercises today. Stick with me to the very end. If you haven't hit the like button already, go ahead and smash that already. Leave a comment. I'm Dr. John Cybulski. If you guys have questions as we go through this, you guys have left a bunch of great questions. I get questions about some of your conditions. I try to answer each and every one. So if you have any questions, feel free, comment below. Let's get into this thing. Why don't glutes work? Okay, so the first reason glutes honestly aren't waking up, you're not feeling your glutes working, is that your hips are very tight. And they're often very tight because you sit too much. In other words, your hips are at this 90-degree angle here, right? Not like this guy. Imagine there's a chair there. But anyways, you're sitting at a 90-degree angle and the front of your hips become very tight. Where they are folding over, literally it's where our pants will start to crease, right? So one of the things we want to do is to open up the front of the hip. And you're just going to do this repetitively, leaning back across your body. So you're getting this nice opening action in the front, and we just do that repetitively, about 15 or 20 times until you can really lean back and rock back. Then you're going to switch to the other side and open up the front of your hips. Because what happens if the front of the hips are tight, what happens is that starts to deactivate or put your glutes in a position where they're not as likely to be able to work because we have shortened in the front and we are lengthened in the back. So what we want to do is open up the front so that we can shift our weight back and start to use those glutes. Okay, so this is the first way. This is the easiest way. My favorite way is going to be probably this one or this one, which we will get to in 1 second. There's one more stretch I need you to do before we do that. Is called the 90-90 shin box. Now again, often our hips are kind of up in this 90-degree angle, right? And so they're very tight in the front. But our hips work on a 3-dimensional plane. So we need to stretch out our hips as they are built 3-dimensionally. So in this position, we're going externally on one side, and then the other way, we're going to rotate internally on one leg, externally on the back leg. And then we simply just reverse it and go right back out of it, swing through, and then extend the hips up. So we're starting to get a little bit of hip extension. This leg an internal rotation, this back leg an external rotation. So you're really gonna push those hips forward and get a nice little glute contraction. However, when one glute is in external rotation and the other one is in internal rotation, so that we get the glutes through all the 3 dimensions that they work in. Cool? Stretch number 1, open up the front, right? Easy peasy. Stretch number 2, open up your hips in the 90-degree angle. It's a ball and socket. So we're going to wake up those hips that way as we actively open the front. Good gosh. And then we're going to squeeze through the back. Now, let's get to the exercises. In the beginning, this is how most people start to work out their glutes in a squat. And I'm not opposed to the squat as working the glutes. However, what happens when we start to set up rigs like this, kind of like the goblet squat, this is a landmine squat, it pulls our weight forward. So this is going to be more of like a quad dominant. You're going to feel it in your quads. Your glutes are way, way, way back there. They're not going to have a great chance to work here. So you're going to feel a lot of this. You'll see how even here, he's kind of leaning forward. The glutes work better when they're shifted backwards. So he shifts his hips back as far as he's going to, but you'll notice how the front of his body is kind of forward. That is not a good place for your glutes to work. He's going to get a stretch back here, yes, but this is really not going to hit the glutes. This is more of a quad dominant. So if you're shifted forward, you'll probably feel it more in your quads. This is the after, okay? The after is this guy. So this is kind of called we'll call it a curtsy step down. The full-on curtsy is this one. We'll get to it in just a second. The curtsy step down is almost like the curtsy parachute exercise. So you're going to hold the weight up here in the racked position, and then you simply step down. And what I mean by parachute is to slowly let yourself your back leg go down such that you are shifting your weight over into this glute here. So you can see the weight's going this way, the legs going this way, and you are going to get a lot of tension through this glute. Does that make sense? Versus kind of going straight forward and back where you're getting tension, kind of your center of gravity is here through the quads. And even when you go up, you're shifted forwards there. This is not only getting you to shift backwards, but it's getting you to shift laterally into the hip. And that glute works because it goes from the back and it wraps around there. So it doesn't just extend the hip, move the leg straight backwards. It more so moves the hip away from the body or the knee in towards the midline of the body. So anyways, these parachute step downs are going to help you throw your weight over there with your upper body, throw your weight there with your lower body. And if you're staying in this position, you're going to put a lot of tension through that glute. Then of course, the step up is always a great way to activate it. But once you go down, this hip is now wound up. So coming back up, the only thing you're going to do is, unless you get a little bit of a jump from this bottom leg, all the tension is going to have to go pushing down. Let's clear this up. Let's explain this. We're going to push our foot straight down. That knee is going to have to come in, and all the tension is going to go back out through the glute. So let's watch that. There you go. So parachute down, step up. Parachute down. He's going down fast because A, he's got a big weight. If I was you, I would start on a much lighter weight and then let it step down and parachute down. It's not easy. You're going to have to start, with it. But after a couple weeks of doing this, you'll realize you can parachute down a little bit slower, and you'll really feel those glutes as you work eccentrically down into this curtsy parachute. And then, of course, as you push back up, you're going to feel those glutes activated because you've also wound up this hip. It's on tension. You'll also see this hamstring kind of back here as well. And then you're going to go up. Cool. Last one is the curtsy. Now this one is just going to kind of destroy the glute. You'll see why. So he's staying back here. Okay, so this is the glute, right? Our center of gravity, the weight is over here. We've got, again, the back leg over here. So our center of gravity is going right down through this hip, right? So by having everything shoved over, we are forcing this dropping down into that hip repetitively, over and over. Now, he has his arm back here, and that is fine because this dude is lifting a ton of weight, okay? You can see by his face, right? So it's okay to have the arm back. If you want to make it really brutal, you're going to have to lower the weight, but take that arm and grab, almost wrap around. I think I got a kettlebell. Hold on, I do have a kettlebell. So you're going to hold it up like this, like he's holding it. Then you're going to come around and grab it this way. Try to keep the elbow up. So boom, grab around, keep the elbow up, okay? Wasn't expecting to need that, but always keep your kettlebell at your desk side should you need it, right? So anyways, grab around the kettlebell. That will also then twist your torso around, so that'll throw you even deeper into that hip. You can see that he's side bent here, which again means he is shifting his center of weight over towards the side of that hip. And then once you've got that weight centered over the hip, you just curtsy as deep as possible. It's a nice polite rumor that if you meet the Queen of England or whatever and you're a girl, you're supposed to curtsy. And the deeper that you curtsy, the more polite it is. I'm American. I don't know these things. Rumors I've heard, right? Okay, so anyways, so to loosen up and activate get your hips to wake up, dear Lord, I can talk. That's how you know this video is coming to a close. Is we want to actively open up the front of our hips because we sit all day, and sitting compresses the front and deactivates the back. The second thing we want to do is the 90-90 shin box. So our femurs and our hips work because they are a ball and socket joint, and they work in a 90-90 manner. So we want to treat them and work them in all three dimensions. So internally rotating, externally rotating, pushing up through the hips, and then going back and forth the other way. So, right, opening up the front, getting to use them in three dimensions, shifting our weight back. That's what this one was really kind of showing us, to shift our weight back. As we shift our weight forward, we're going to hit our quads a bit more. And then the last one, parachute curtsy. We want to shift our weight. If we want to get our glutes to really work, we have to shift our weight laterally into our hips and not anteriorly or posteriorly. The big trick is to go single leg and laterally. Curtsy, parachutes, go down slow. If you want to grab and reach around the kettlebell, like my silly little demonstration. And then lastly, really line it up. And again, I would say he almost grabs it there. You see, grab around the opposite side of that So you'll twist your torso around. You've got this leg back. The weight is over there. And then just rep out, up and down, over and over. And your glute will be burning like crazy. Thank y'all for watching. Like and comment below. We've got a podcast if you're interested in more talk like this. We've got a Patreon coming. Find the links below. Thank y'all so much. Have a great day.